will remember him. Paul Brinkman, Sense of Africa. Sense of Africa, East. Let me try that again. Sense of Africa, East Africa. There, I did it. Give you the controls, you know the drill.
Thanks very much.
I will leave you with the IntelliTravel family here. Scoot out of your way.
Perfect, thanks very much. Well, are we good to go?
Just almost.
So before I actually start on the presentation, let me just introduce myself. Some of you have seen me earlier doing the presentation on Namibia, which really is my home, Southern Africa. But my colleague, Mike, from East Africa, didn't manage to get a visa into Canada, albeit applying in time. And so today, I will be Mike. You might see a middle-aged white man standing in front of you, but I really am a strapping, well-built, old black man doing a presentation for you today. So let's talk about Sense of Africa first this time, and not the country yet. You know, who are we? Sense of Africa is a leading destination management company in East and Southern Africa. So we have a footprint which runs along the southern and the eastern side of Africa, and all the areas that you note there in orange or yellow. That is where we have actual offices, and the terminology we use is boots on the ground. And the areas that are shaded in dark grey are areas where we are looking to open up more offices to expand our footprint. We believe in the future. I mean, we live in Africa, it's a third world, so whatever we do, we create opportunities also for our guests to contribute to the green seed projects that we work on. What are we about? What is our expertise? Because we have boots on the ground in every country, we have unique market knowledge no matter where we are. Our people are really important, and they add that value having that knowledge. But what we also have is we have technological innovation. We have really good live systems all over on the African continent where we can read into the suppliers, the availability, and utilize them. And with the scope and size that we will have preferential rates and availability at our disposal for a good product portfolio. So what do we then have that is our own? Same as what I did with Namibia, we have our own scheduled guided tours. All our guides are permanently employed by us. So we're not using freelancers from outside. We always will do the meet and assist at the airport, greet your guests, greet the travelers when they come so they immediately feel at home, and then we do transfers and charters everywhere within the countries that we operate, and we own our own fleet. Now, opposite to that, we have services by design, or more bespoke or tailor-made travel, where we really just give full service support. What is it that you would like to do? What are the nuances that your guests like? And then we take our expertise and our knowledge and we sew that in. So it would be deluxe travel, it would be private guided tours, special interest tours if there's a unique interest, like in the geology, the calderas, the rift. We have multilingual expert guides, and this is how we also do group series travel for a lot of our partners like Go Away, that they are actually running their own tours and individual travel. And it really is about our team. So if anyone is still struggling to see me in my strapping black form, the small picture on the right is the false one, the big black guy, that's me. If we look at the countries where we operate and what makes them special, we start with Kenya. I mean, we can read what we have there, but what is Kenya known for? Kenya is still the home of the African safari. When it comes to wildlife in Africa, East Africa, Kenya were the pioneers. And you know that when you come, your guests come, that is what they're going to see. Awesome, spectacular wildlife. It is embarrassing as a Southern African, often to admit and say, where's the wildlife experience better? We go, it's different. But if it's purely wildlife you're looking for, it is East Africa, where we have the great migration that is so famous all over the world, home of Elsa the lioness, and absolutely pristine beaches down in Mombasa. That's really just a map to give you an idea. I know the other presenters are going into detail on the things, so I'm not going to be doing geography. And this is really what it is about when you are in Kenya, out in the open, awesome activities, same as Namibia, getting yourself immersed into the countryside. An iconic picture from the Kenyan side in Amboseli National Park of an ellie with the majestic Mount Kilimanjaro behind you. And then also just unique other animals and bird life that, you know, often we forget, but really do make the destination special and unique. And then you can always do the combo, you know, once you've done safari, some of us are a little bit tired afterwards, so, you know, 3 to 5 days on the beach really puts a spectacular and relaxing ending to your holiday and your safari. And we have Uganda, and you know, I can wax lyrical about Uganda because it is really a green paradise. It has some of its own great parks, and same as Namibia, you know, Africa has wildlife and wildlife is everywhere in Africa. But the things that Uganda is special and known for, it's the origin of the Nile River, and that also gives you great adventure activities like whitewater rafting, and then of course, most importantly, for what we sell the most is that spectacular mountain gorilla. Often Uganda is an add-on, but it actually has a right as a standalone destination on its own. It shouldn't be undersold. That's really, you know, a lodge right at the eye of the Nile, Wild Waters Lodge in Uganda. Then we have Tanzania. And I think, you know, I heard James earlier on about Ngorongoro Crater, which is a spectacular environmental reserve on its own. It has Mount Kilimanjaro, largest population of African dogs. But really, who doesn't have safari on their mind? Michael was telling me when we were in Uganda together, we had a herd of a pride of 5 lions, and he was going, can we move on? Because in East Africa, forgetting Uganda's East Africa, there's always at least 20 of them. It's spectacular wildlife. And Ngorongoro Crater, with its unique own diverse flora, and isn't this everyone's bucket list? Hot air ballooning over the Serengeti, probably the most famous park by name in the world. Zanzibar is the beach portion of Tanzania, its own island, and it also has a really interesting historical stone town. But if you look at those beautiful white, pristine beaches and really luxurious resorts for you to end safari in Tanzania. Stone Town is unique in its own with its culture and some of its history. Ethiopia is a different cell. It's really not about the game or the wildlife to the same extent. They have 7 UNESCO World Heritage Sites in the country. I mean, for culture, for history, it really is special portion of Africa. They're also our oldest independent country in Africa. At the moment, I would say most of the people who are going there would be Christian group tours, but it lends itself to so much more. And there are vigils that you just don't get elsewhere in the world. And finally, Rwanda. Much like Uganda, except Rwanda really sells itself on a low volume, high price package, and so your experiences are really very, very exclusive. You know, they have great mountain gorillas, and very interesting to go to the Kigali Genocide Museum, because historically we always think of Rwanda as somewhere that was dangerous, but they are probably one of the best success stories in Africa of how they've turned themselves around and become the success factor in Africa. And there you have the chimpanzees, you have the monkeys, and of course the gorillas. But a valley of 1,000 hills. If you're not going up, you're coming down. The landscape, the scenery is spectacular. So about us and our transport. On safari, we always use the 4x4 safari vehicles. Really comfortable. Everybody has a window seat, pop-up roof, aircon, charging stations. There'll be a guidebook in the vehicle, and you will be hosted by your guide in comfort, rugged comfort, through your safari. Really what it looks like on the back and side, that you can see spacious and available. And then the other way we would travel would be if the distances are longer and you don't want to sit for 3 to 5 hours traveling slowly. Some of the hops we would do by aircraft, and that really would be either a scheduled tour, a scheduled departure, which comes in at a slightly better price, but if that's not available, we can always do private charter on aircraft or even on a helicopter, which makes it a little bit more of a scenic look. And that really is East Africa in a nutshell, speed dating style. Asante sana.
Awesome. Wonderful. Thank you, Paul. Back again. Thank you very much. Sense of Africa, East Africa. Got it again. And throw at this by the end of today. All right. So welcome back.